Hi, I'm Graham and welcome back to Man vs Film. This is going to be a top 10 of movies that you can watch right now on Amazon Prime UK for the month of November 2018. I've got some recent movies on this list as well as a couple of classic movies that I really want to recommend you guys. So let's get started with number 10. Crocodile Dundee. New York reporter Sue travels to Australia to meet and interview Michael J. Crocodile Dundee, a man who runs a safari business and has just survived an attack by a crocodile. After spending a few days touring the safari park, Sue invites Mick back to visit New York. Crocodile Dundee came out in 1986. It was a movie that I watched countless times when I was younger, burnt out the VHS on it, and I thought it was tremendous. And going back to it now, it's a movie that is just fantastic. I don't know if it's nostalgic love or if it is just genuinely a really fun movie, but I feel it gets by on the charm of Paul Hogan, who plays Mick Crocodile Dundee, and just has so much charm. He really does, you know, from his jokes to the way he acts to his mannerisms. And this is primarily a fish out of water movie. You know, the first little bit is set in Australia, and then they go back to New York, and it becomes a little bit of getting used to these new customs and kind of falling for Sue as well. But it's effortless. It's such an easy watch. It's one that he just washes over with you. There's nothing serious here. There's nothing to think about. It's just pure entertainment, and I think it still really holds up. Love to know your thoughts on this one. Number 9, The Green Inferno. A group of idealistic college students set off to the Peruvian jungle. Their aim is to make an ecological statement by hindering the operation of a logging company and streaming this live to YouTube. They succeed in this, but on the way back their plane crashes. The survivors now have to deal with the cannibalistic tribe that lives in those parts. Eli Roth's love letter to the cannibalistic movies of the 70s and 80s. Things like Cannibal Ferox, Cannibal Holocaust, Mountain of the Cannibal God, and countless others. And it kind of takes a lot of elements from those, lots of the best parts. And this is a kind of movie all about people who are trying to do the best that they can for an indigenous race, and ultimately become the prey of that race by falling into their lap almost, trespassing on their land. And it is horrific in moments. There is some really good gore and bloody moments, and if you like those kind of movies from the 70s and 80s, it's pretty decent. Number 8, The Post. A cover-up that spanned 4 US presidents pushed the country's first female newspaper publisher and hard-driven editor to join an unprecedented battle between the press and the government. This movie is directed by Steven Spielberg, stars Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep. Now, to be honest, that should be enough impetus to go and check this out. For me, I was kind of wary about this movie. It wasn't a subject matter that I was really interested in, but I'm so glad I sat down to watch it. As you would expect, there is amazing performances from both Streep and Hanks and a lot of the secondary players as well. Spielberg keeps his direction kind of low-key but allows the story to move forward, and it's a pretty fascinating tale. You know, I didn't know anything about this, just to find out how they fought to allow information out for everybody to understand what was going on, to highlight things that were happening that should not have been happening, was really interesting to watch. And to see the sort of day-to-day breakdown of how a newspaper tried to break a story was really compelling as well. It's worth checking out. I think it's a movie that, yeah, fairly interesting. Number 7, War Dogs. 2 friends in their early 20s living in Miami Beach during the Iraq War exploit a little-known government initiative that allows small businesses to bid on US military contracts. Starting small, they begin raking in big money and are living the high life. But as the pair get in over their heads when they land a $300 million deal to arm the Afghan military. Starring Miles Teller and Jonah Hill, this was a movie that I didn't 100% connect with in the cinema. But checking it out again, on streaming services, I found a movie that was a lot of fun. Now, it's still shocking that these guys managed to actually do this because it's based on a true story, and that just makes it all the more ridiculous. These guys out of their element, dealing with people that they shouldn't be dealing with, and yet somehow easing their way through life into these huge paydays that they managed to get. It's got some really funny moments, it's got some good action moments, and it's got these 2 characters that have kind of slow starts, you know, they're not doing too great, they have a big idea, they make a lot of money, and then they fall from grace. A story we've seen done before, but this one is fairly interesting and well worth your time. Number 6, Gravity. Dr. Ryan Stone is a brilliant medical engineer on our first shuttle mission, with veteran astronaut Matt Kowalski in command of his last flight before retiring. But on a seemingly routine spacewalk, disaster strikes. The shuttle is destroyed, leaving Stone and Kowalski completely alone tethered to nothing but each other and spiralling out into the blackness. Alfonso Cuarón's terrific movie was a sight to be seen in the cinemas. It was amazing, and it seems to have been forgotten since it's left there, which is a real shame because it's still a fantastic 90-minute thriller on streaming services. I watched this again recently and I fell in love with it again. It's fantastically well shot, it's kinetic, atmospheric, tense, suspenseful, as you have this character trapped in outer space trying to get their way back to Earth, which is, quite a hard thing to deal with, but it's effortless. And that really short runtime just condenses everything down so it's a story that has everything that it needs and is just highly entertaining. Number 5, Attack the Block. This movie follows a young woman and a gang of tough inner city kids who make an unlikely alliance to try and defend their turf against an invasion of savage alien creatures, turning a South London apartment complex into an intergalactic war zone. I love these kind of movies where you've got a group of people who don't belong together, who are trying to fight back an alien presence, much like The Faculty, but on a smaller scale. This time it's a tower block, it's their tower block, and they are not going to let this alien scourge run it over. I really love the alien design on these characters. I've said it countless times, I think they're fantastically well done. It's almost like a black void, but with blue eyes and these razor sharp teeth when it opens its jaws, but they kind of fade into the shadows in the background, and it's probably done for budgetary reasons, but it is a terrific design nonetheless. And this has a good cast of characters that's fun to see sort of laugh, joke and fight back against this alien scourge. Number 4, The Social Network. Harvard student Mark Zuckerberg creates the social networking site that would become known as Facebook, but is later sued by 2 brothers who claim they stole their idea, and co-founder who was later squeezed out of the business. I remember when the Facebook movie was announced and it was just kind of scoffed at. But David Fincher created something that is truly captivating. This is one of these movies that no matter when I watch it by disc or catch it on the TV, I have to watch it. I am compelled to follow the movie through. It is a character study of a flawed character. This isn't a guy that's all good or all bad. He is mostly a negative character who doesn't have great social abilities but creates a great social network. It's filled with secondary characters that are all fascinating, interesting. David Fincher shoots the hell out of this and makes sure that it's a story that, like I said, once you start, you cannot stop, no matter how many times I've seen it. I love this movie. I think it's fantastic, a masterpiece. Number 3, I, Tonya. Loved for a fleeting moment and then hated for life. Tonya Harding, the child prodigy who was forced into the realm of skating by her overbearing and abusive mother, recounts the events in her bumpy life. This is a biopic of Tonya Harding, and one of these ones that embraces the fact that it's all personal opinion, most of the facts anyway, when they're telling their story. You could have somebody telling a scene and it'll cut to another person telling it, and it changes that scene. It's fluid, it's always based on opinion, and it lets you know that by giving you one perspective and then changing it and showing you another. Lets you know that it's all a sort of mix of what both of them are saying. Nobody's truly right, nobody's truly wrong, it's just how they remember this story. So it also has this vicious strain of black humour all the way through it as well. Some great performances, from laugh out loud moments. Number 2, Lights Out. Years after mysterious and gruesome death of their father Paul in a textile factory, not much seems to have changed for his mentally disturbed wife Sophia and Paul's young son Martin. But things are getting stranger for Sophia, and Martin needs the help of his older stepsister Rebecca. This movie has 2 things going for it that make it really worth your time. It has some really good direction and it has a fantastic concept behind it. When the lights are on, you're safe. But there is this entity, this supernatural spirit that works in the shadows, and if it catches you, you're dead. So if the lights go out, you're in some real trouble. It's a fantastic idea, and the director uses it to create some really suspenseful and atmospheric moments. It's not a movie that you're going to go back to countless times, but it's a good one-time scare. It's well worth checking out. Number 1, Cool Hand Luke. Luke Jackson is a cool, gutsy prisoner in the Southern chain gang who, while refusing to buckle under authority, keeps escaping and being recaptured. The prisoners admire Luke. Nevertheless, the camp staff actively work to crush Luke until he finally breaks. Paul Newman is Luke in this movie, and he is one of the most charismatic characters you will ever meet. He comes into this prison where there seems to be rules and structure, and he sets about trying to break it down. As much as the guards try to break Luke, he just makes him more, gives him more resolve and want to fight back against these guys, whether it be just, burning through their work for the day so that they can sit about do nothing, or taking on weird challenges of trying to eat 50 eggs within an hour. Luke just bucks the system. He fights back. He tries to make things better for himself, and it is fantastic. Since the first time I saw this movie, way back, I have loved it ever since, and because of that fantastic performance. There's other great performances in it as well, especially from George Kennedy, and I think if it's a movie you've never heard of, you've never seen before, I think it's something that you should be checking out. So there we have it, top 10 of movies from Amazon Prime UK for November 2018. I hope you find something that you like, or something that you enjoy, or get a reaction out of one way or another. Let me know in the comment box your thoughts on this list, and I'd be happy to take recommendations for something that I should check out on the service. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Man vs Film.